So how do you make someone strong? Like somebody's like, hey, I heard you bench pressed a lot and won a lot of stuff. So,
Hmm.
some things. Like how
Help,
can you how
help
can
me,
you help
help me be
me?
strong. Yeah. Okay.
Like, you won a lot of stuff. You were big, like you still are big, but when I saw you, you were like at your
I was 70 kilos bigger than what I am now. So
yeah. So,
yeah.
so you probably know how to do stuff. So how do you like do that?
Okay. How do you do it? Well, I used to. The answer used to be sort of really long and sort of go everywhere. Since you put me onto TAD, the marketing for hippies, it's now really easy because it's that island A to island B thing for strength is so simple. It's we find out what island A looks like. So where are you now? We just do lots and lots of assessment on uh, how strong are you now, and where are you strong? Not just you can lie down on a bench press and do one rep and go, oh, okay, you can lift 100 pounds.
Mhm.
I want to know how come you can lift 100 pounds? What muscles are you using? What are you recruiting? What have you done before? And so there's lots and lots of ways to identify how you got to where you are right now on the map.
Can I ask
And
a question?
yeah, go for it.
How can you tell what muscles someone's using when they're bench pressing?
So for me, it's like an experience one. Just watching the bar path, like you can see where people are loading up. Just
Can,
very globally, you can kind of see if they're using more triceps and shoulders or more chest or more back or whatever.
can
Um, just very sort of gross movement patterns.
can you give an
If you start
example
watching,
of what that might
yeah.
look like? Like a common
So
example of what
a
people
common
do.
example, um, if you watch somebody, if I see somebody with this bar path, I go, oh man, we need to do a lot of back work
Mm.
just to strengthen them up. Is the bar will come down to their chest, and then instead of coming straight back up off their chest, it'll sort of drift towards their face a little bit, and you see the
Oh,
bar kind of do this. And what's happening is that without knowing it, they're searching for stability, and it's not until they get the stability from their rear delts instead of their upper back and lats.
mm.
The rear belts give the stability because their elbow flares out a bit, and then they've got enough stability to push the weight.
Oh.
So I would go, all right, there's some easy gains there if we do a whole lot of rowing type motions for your
Mhm.
back. And so work on the lats, then you're
Mhm.
going to be able to hold that bar path and all of the pushing muscles that are already strong, they're going to be able to be in a position to be used better now.
Um,
So that's a really classic one. That drift, that bar drift back towards
uh-huh.
the face, that's always underdeveloped lats.
Oh, now I gotta check mine. That's cool.
Yeah.
So then,
Uh,
do you feel
if
like
you're weak off the chest, like slow off the chest and fast at the top, means like you got really good triceps, but your pecs aren't doing all that they could do. Fast off the chest, weak at the slow at the top means you need more triceps.
oh my God, that's so easy.
Yeah. Uh,
That's so cool.
right. It's yeah, I think it's really easy. Let me tell you a story about Bill Kazmaier, the greatest strongman of all time from America. My buddy and I were at the Arnold Classic. We just competed, and it became a little tradition of ours that as soon as we finished lifting, we would lead the charge up to the bar at the Hyatt in the convention center in Columbus, and we'd start drinking. So we'd been there for a couple of hours already when Bill Kazmaier walked through the room, and we're like, "Oh my God, it's Bill Kazmaier! Let's go say hi." And so we just, because we were mostly sober, mostly, but we'd had enough to drink that it felt like the right thing to approach somebody as famous as Bill. And he's like, "Oh, you guys look like bench presses," and we're like, "Oh, we are." He knows we're bench presses. This is cool. And so Bill started talking us through the way he thought about the bench press back in his day.
Mhm.
Bill was the first person to bench press 300 kilos in competition. It was a record that stood for a very, very long time, and he didn't do a lot of powerlifting. So I was very interested to find out what he did. And he said, all we did is we took a photo of ourselves, or we looked in the mirror, and we just went through body parts and
Mhm.
go, and you look and he goes, well, how's my upper chest? How's my lower chest? Is there a lot? And just looking again, okay, I've got a lot of lower chest, upper chest needs work. So they'll do more incline barbell presses.
Oh,
Or they'd
okay.
look or they'd look at their delts and they go, oh, my front delts are really big, but my side delts, not so much. So they
Ah,
would work on that. Or they would look at and they just went through and they go, okay, so biceps, delts, front delts, upper and lower pecs, and traps. And just pick one and go,
oh,
what doesn't add up to the rest of them? And that's what they would work on.
that is so cool. So then you
Yeah,
would,
right.
when
And
do you
that was
practice?
the late 70s, early 80s as well. That's not new techniques. That's really, really old.
Right.
Um, so old that pretty much nobody does that.
Right, because I think
But one of the best of all time does it. So I do that.
right, because you think where did you see people start to shift that, it started to not because sometimes the simplest things that people have been doing for a long time, you just keep doing those things instead of like changing them to make them more fancy or to make it sound more sciency or like
Hmm.
whatever. So where do you see like mistakes being made in that sense? Like what's the focus on that you don't really need that focus so much for,
Mm,
you know what I'm trying to ask?
yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I do. We get carried away with novelty and the need for novelty.
Mm,
Uh, where was it? I'll do another name drop because this guy was. I've met some really cool people. So, Pavel Tsatsouline, the Russian strength coach,
uh-huh.
the kettlebell guy,
Okay.
um, made all of those stretching and kettlebell DVDs, and he's got this really cool shtick about being super Russian and go, "Oh, comrade, yeah, get your kettlebells." Um, but I went to dinner with him one night when I met him, and I asked, and over steak, I said, "What's the deal with Russian training? Like you guys were so dominant for so long,
Mhm.
what happened?"
Mhm.
And they were using pretty much like 5 sets of three at 80% was the staple for everything. Training that way is kind of boring, and so they would only be doing the standard stuff, and then they started doing plyometrics and all this, and Russian teams just killed everyone. So I said, why don't they do that anymore? And Pavel says, I think they got bored.
Mhm.
I'm like, they got bored? And he goes, yeah,
Mhm.
they got bored of winning because there was nothing new in training. They were doing all these crazy plyometrics and all the, but the really boring weight training and then add some plyometrics on top. And they're the most explosive, most powerful athletes in the world. But it's not a fun way to train. It's really fun results.
Like
But
plyometrics is not fun, or just their whole process, you mean?
the whole process, because
Hmm.
you end up doing the same plyometric every day for a month,
Oh, that's the training.
right? It's a lot of it's the same thing day in, day out, week by week, month by month, year by year. You just
Okay.
get really good at doing about five or six things,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yes.
Imagine the total opposite of CrossFit. Now in
Okay.
CrossFit in 10 weeks, you'll do 20 different workouts. You go to 20 different classes, you'll do
Oh,
20 different CrossFit workouts
okay.
with about 45 different movements. If you trained with a Russian powerlifting team, you would do five movements. I'm trying to think, yeah, maybe six or seven for the whole year. And that's all you're doing.
I don't know. That sounds kind of nice to me.
I liked it.
Maybe
I
because
enjoyed it.
I'm
I,
not a regular, I don't know, but it sounds like, oh good, I don't have to like learn anything new really. I just have to keep getting better at something, which is like my
right.
preferred method is just to be good at
Just
stuff.
chip it away. Just keep on going till you're really, really awesome. Uh, and so yeah, it's a boring way of training, but it's only boring if you're looking that for those external drivers. Like the external stuff is all kind of boring because you've done it a million times before. So to make the movement interesting, you have to go very internal. And so
Hmm.
that's all that flow stuff that I bang on
Hmm.
about.
Hmm.
So was it is it deliberate practice models, where you break down the movement
Hmm.
more and more and more and more. And so over the course of a month or a 6 week cycle, I would be breaking my bench press down into the smallest thing that I could focus on, and it might get down to like my elbow mechanics, just what my elbow was doing at a certain part of the lift, or what, actually, one of the ones was my little finger. And so
Yeah.
you're breaking it down and down and down and down, and it would get down to little finger, and then would put it all back together again and repeat the process. So you're always going through these iterations of pulling everything apart, cleaning it all up, putting it back together.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing that on the same movement all the time, which could be boring if you were a boring person and you weren't able to entertain yourself. But if you're good at being bored, then doing the same thing all the time is really exciting. We call that meditation. I'm a lifetime meditator. I kind of like, I lived in the desert. There wasn't a lot around. I like the same thing. I like seeing the same scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the beauty then in training isn't that you're doing new movements all the time. It's how deep you can get into that movement.
Mm.
And so I think that's where the Russians were so good that they were absolute masters of the movements that they were trying to perform. And they were the masters of really basic movement as well, because they did that
Mm-hmm.
long-term athletic development model
Right.
where initially they're not specializing in any sport. They're just trying to be really good movement generalists, and then they build skills on top of that. So
Mm-hmm.
um
So then they started
yeah,
to seek novelty, and then that's when
they
they
started
started.
to yeah they started
Okay.
to want to train like everyone else in the West,
Uh,
which is just novelty, is chasing shiny things. And
is it also like optimal posture kind of thing, or like is that in powerlifting at all? I don't know. I just know it's kind of
it's
everywhere.
in
Like,
everything.
hmm
Yeah, there's although you see the posture of some people and you're thinking, how is that contributing to them being so strong? And I think for some people it's not always. But yeah, that those elements of efficiency that
hmm
from Z Health, the perfect form, what's the next, and then the next one's posture, isn't it? That dynamic postural alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, super important. Super important. It just um it doesn't always look like it. Like if you think about a bench press, you see how people at the backs are so arched and
Right.
curved. That's dynamic postural alignment for that movement.
Right.
It's not a neutral spine. It's certainly not a straight spine.
Yeah.
But that's the yeah. We're still looking at those sort of shapes. Squat and deadlift, it's going to be much more neutral because we
Right.
want everything stacked up over the top of each other. But yeah, posture super important.
Yeah. So if you're working with someone and they're not getting strong, like first of all, like how long would you give whatever you're giving them to determine whether it's working or not working? You know what I mean? Or
Oh,
like if someone's like, I'm not getting stronger, is it that they're not getting stronger sometimes, or it's just not giving the program enough time? Like, I think it's hard to tell sometimes how long to give something before you're wasting your time, right?
I think that's a really good question, and I'm not good at answering that question because the, I don't know. This is massive flex. I can't think of anyone that hasn't got stronger that I've worked with.
Okay, but let's say um someone else, you were talking to someone and they were telling you about their training plan and they were like, I
Okay.
haven't, like, how could you tell
Oh,
that,
like I'm
you know,
stalled. Yeah, I just asked them like, what have you been doing? Like that phrase, what happened before what happened is really powerful. So like,
right.
well, what happened? Oh, well, nothing happened. I didn't get stronger. Well, what have you been doing for the last few months?
Hmm.
And there's normally something really obvious because if we try to break it down as simple as possible, you have to train hard enough to stimulate muscle growth.
Hmm.
Training hard enough is actually pretty simple. You don't have to go much beyond 50%. You don't have to train that hard
Hmm.
to make it an overload. So that progressive overload bit, that's really important.
Hmm.
So we go, all right, are you doing some kind of progressive overload? If they say yep, like cool, okay. Are you eating enough to support that
Hmm.
growth? Uh they're normally the first two bits. Or are you recovering enough?
Hmm.
There you go. Three simple parts like how's recovery, how's training, how's nutrition? And you go,
Okay.
well, nutrition's kind of okay. Like there's kind of enough food. It could be much better, but it's okay. Then you go, well, how's work and sleep? You go, oh man, I'm working 60 hours a week and I sleep 5 hours a night. And you go, well, that's probably the first thing I would experiment with then. You just find
Um,
something that would be a good experiment.
so then what might their coach be getting wrong or like they be getting wrong if they're doing it on their own? Like how could they um
Oh,
self-diagnose or like,
yeah.
right?
I
Like,
think we look it's great to be focused on the long-term goal
mhm,
always. But I think sometimes if we remain too focused on the long-term goal, then we're continually comparing the current self to the future self and being horribly disappointed with where we're at and possibly doing something that is inappropriate for where we are on the journey. Um, I'll use the analogy of hiking. If you go hiking through the mountains, you want to know where you're going. It's really important to know where the trail leads.
mhm,
But when you set out, that's about all the information you need to know about the destination. Is
mhm,
there is one, and if I keep going this direction, I'm going to get there. So if you keep on if you're so fixed on what the destination looks like and how you have to be at the destination, then you end up walking this really straight line and you forget that the path winds around.
mhm.
So, all the hiking trails, you go up and round, and you're not always going in the direction that you think the destination is.
Right.
But it's important to follow the path and make the best next decision. So we have to be constantly going, well, where am I going? Where do I want to go short term? Where am I going right now?
Okay.
Um, and so that's that thing that I do with all the different goal setting that we have a workout goal, we have a daily goal, we have a weekly goal,
Mhm.
monthly, quarterly, half year, yearly, long term goal.
Yeah.
And we're always adjusting those based on what's happening today, this week, this month.
Right.
Um, the majority of people I see, they have a long term goal and they have a today goal for the
Mhm.
workout.
Yeah.
And there's just too much, in my head, there's too much disconnect between those goals.
Right. It's like it's like you're not seeing what's right in front of you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just kind of like hoping that if you keep doing the things, you'll get there eventually, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's trying to it's like walking with your eyes closed sometimes. I
Hmm.
think the way people go about it, it's just like head down. I go, no, 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 I'll just keep doing this. It'll work eventually. You go,
Yeah. Like,
but
do you mean like sometimes people train too hard? Like, what is the most
uh,
common thing like people do that keeps them kind of stuck or not on the path, really, I guess?
um, not understand what their values are.
Hmm. That's
Misaligned.
a
I
good
think
answer.
misaligned values is what eventually trips up pretty much everyone.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh
so if
yeah.
you yeah, if you
I'm
think
like,
about the
that was
causes of yeah, you actually got to like you actually have to value the thing that you're doing and the thing that you're going after. Uh,
gosh,
our
that
brains are pretty special. If we have a goal in mind that I used to talk about this all the time, the self sabotage of either easy goals or goals that we don't really care about or goals that other people care heaps about but they're not ours. um Subconsciously we do this little routine of, well, is it that important? Because that's going to cost you a lot of calories to get there. So now you trying to get that goal is a potential survival threat because you're going to need lots and lots of calories. So we're going, well, hang on, we don't see our brains are, and in my head, there's all these voices. It's like a Pixar movie. There's five people all having a little discussion about it and go, well, it's going to cost us a lot of calories, and I don't think we really care that much about it. So there's always this budgeting our brains will do and go, oh, well, it's not that important, and it's a lot of calories. Let's not
hmm
do it.
hmm
So we start saving calories by self sabotage. And it's not self sabotage, it's actually self protection because we don't care about that. don't waste your energy going after something that you don't really care about.
Yeah.
So if we define the goals clearly in terms of our values and of
Hmm.
what we believe is important in terms of, and I'm talking like core values, things that'll help you turn up for the next 10, 15 years
Hmm.
on a cold, wet winter's morning, those
Yeah.
kind of values.
Yeah.
And if they're not those, if your goals in training don't address those, it'll fall apart eventually.
Oh yeah, it falls apart. It's like you're
Mm.
so willpowered and disciplined until you crack.
It's like,
You're like, I can't do this shit anymore. You know? Well, that was me.
yeah,
But
yeah, no, that's like, I know so many people like that. You
yeah,
know,
so do you want to know
you know,
what?
you know, ask people about that and go, what are you doing that for? And they go, because I have to. And you're like, oh, okay. You get
Well,
some kind of exorcist answer.
yeah, lately I've been asking myself or saying something to myself that's been really interestingly helpful. And so I think of a particular mentor like saying this to me, saying like if I'm making a choice about something, you know how you said like on a dark, cold morning, whether you do
Hmm.
this or that. And I look at myself and like in my brain, like I have a very big imagination. So it's like I'm looking at myself, whatever, and this person is like looking at me and saying to me, "You know what? I trust that you're going to make the right decision for you." And then I'm like, "Oh."
Hmm.
Whatever right means, like, in line with your values. I trust that you're going to make the decision that's in line with your values, instead of like, I hear a lot of stuff with self-help things like, well, everyone has a choice. You either choose to get up or you choose not to get up, or you choose to go to the gym or you don't choose. And I'm like, yes, people know. Like, we know this already. And like shaming them about it isn't going to help them want to do that. Like saying
Yeah,
like, oh, you're choosing wrong, you're choosing lazy, you're choosing blah, blah, blah. And instead, like this saying to myself, I trust you. You're a grown ass woman. You know what's best for you. You're going to make the best choice for you in this moment. Right.
yeah,
And when you give someone that trust that you believe that they're going to do the thing that's best for them or in line with their values, it gives this confidence of, yeah, I am. I sure
I
am.
got this.
I
Yeah,
got this,
right.
and it's not filled with shame and garbage. It's filled with your values. And you're like, well, all right, well, this person trusts me to make the decision in line with my values. So now I have to do that, I guess. Right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's very interesting. So I thought you would understand what I was saying with that
yeah.
one.
I'm gonna wind it back to where you said, that choice thing.
Yeah.
I This is definitely another. It'll be a whole podcast. So I'll just put it out there and then leave it alone. I question how much choice there is.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I know
I'm
you
not a
do.
hard. Like I'm not a hard line. There is no free will. I don't think there's free will, and certainly from a biological or a neuroscience perspective, it's really hard for a neuroscientist to believe in free will.
Oh
Where we
yeah.
go, but it feels like we have free will. It feels like we're making a choice. You go,
Hmm.
are you really though? Like, are you really? Did you really choose that? Is that you? But however way you look at it, I don't think there's this, that we tend to think about ourselves as this little agent that lives inside our brain, that there's an us,
Hmm.
and that we selected training today or we selected sitting on the couch. And
Hmm.
I go, I think it's way more complicated than that.
Hmm.
I don't think it is that. It's not like we're going, oh no, I'm going to choose to be fat today. I don't think anyone chooses that. I think because of a lot of things, different things happen and there's different results. And all of those results are an accumulation of absolutely everything that has happened in that person's life and how that person has moved up until that point then,
Hmm.
which is why I spend so much time trying to uh, get to the point of where are you now and how did you get here?
Hmm.
What are all the things that you did to get here right now? Because when you sort that out, the next step is really obvious.
It is.
Yeah. Like, how did you get to here? Um, and you go, where are you going? Oh, I want that 200 kilo deadlift. I want that 450 deadlift. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, you should deadlift 450. That'd be really cool. Um, so cool.
I know, I
And
was
you go,
thinking
okay, I know where I'm going. And go, and today I'm deadlifting 120. And go, well, how did you get here?
that. Mm.
And then
Oh,
quite often how did you get to the 120? What's
okay.
worked? What's important? What did it tell you? And so you're learning, well, what did it tell me about my values? What do I think is important? And there's all these little clues there for go, well, um, you got here by doing this thing, this thing, this thing really well. So here, and what are you strongest at? And you go, well, these three things. You go, well, what's most important to you? Oh, these three things. You go, well, those all kind of connect up a lot. So how about we find a solution that is the interaction of all of those things that you're already doing well, that you already care about, that you already like, that's already really juicy and primed to be a positive experience. How about we do that? And you
Right.
go, oh, okay, that seems easy. So I think yeah, I should explain. I'll explain this a bit more. My model for growth is, I think it's very different to the classic model. Is I just think we expand from wherever we are.
Hmm.
Right? We're just maybe we occupy a very small space at the beginning, and then we just inflate that person. They just expand from where they are. They don't. You don't build something where they're not. Does that make sense? Whereas the I think the personal trainer bodybuilding philosophy is that we're trying to replace item A with item B. And so we build this thing over here and then we try and replace it. And I go, I don't think that really works.
So you're saying like just completely upheaval somebody's plan and just
Yeah.
have them do a bunch of like, oh, wrong, wrong, wrong. This is
Yep.
bad.
We're gonna change the way you eat. You're gonna wake up at a different time. You're gonna wear different shoes. You're gonna do different moves in the gym. You're gonna do this 30-day challenge that you're probably not going to like most of the things you're doing, but we're going to promise you lots of results that you will like. So we're only
Hmm.
going to make you think we're going to do all these different things. That's massive, massive change. Um, because you haven't started with you haven't honored where that person is beginning from. You're just
Right.
treating it like only the destination matters, and we're going to force everybody into this destination, no matter where they're starting from.
Right. It's like
And
you're
so I
not.
think that's why that's why those 30-day or 28-day challenges work, and they get results.
Mhm.
People like what they see at the end of 28 days, and then they hate what they see 14 days later because they started so far from who they are and what they've done up until that point that it's kind of
Oh,
fractious, that it's hard to maintain and hold together.
oh, that's such a good point. The whole like you started so far away from where you were. That's
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
good point because being in fitness for 10 years, you see this all the time. It's like nothing new. It's like,
nah,
oh, 30-day challenge. Everyone's into it. There's like a group and everyone's like cheering and, um, whatever. And sometimes it can be like a catalyst for someone getting into stuff.
absolutely. But how often do you see that?
Yeah.
Like
So,
that's maybe 1 in 20.
yeah, I think so.
It's like, and it's great for the one. Like let's be really clear about that. Awesome
Yeah.
for the one that you found your thing.
Yeah.
But more often than not, it's because they started close to they found what's important to that person. They actually landed on that person's values.
Right. Yeah.
So they have that motivation to stay and keep going, even though results wise they're a long way from where they want to be, but values wise,
Hmm.
they've found something that aligns with their values right now.
Yeah.
So we have to we I think we always have to be extremely mindful of where someone is at right now in this second. What are your values?
Hmm.
What's most important to you right now? And then we try and attach that, we connect that to what's important in the future.
Right. And that's the only way you'll stick with anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
ever had someone complain that their workout wasn't hard enough?
Yes. Yeah,
Right?
a lot.
And
It's
let's
actually
say
one of
you. Let's say
it's
you.
there's a couple of there's two women that instantly come to mind, and they're really good friends of mine. So I love, and it's still funny to this day because it was what 15, almost 20 years ago, like maybe 17 or 18 years ago. It was when I was back in the desert and I was training people and we're doing lots of kettlebells and conditioning type work with this lady, doing some of the Z Hill stuff too.
Mhm.
And her goals was to be better at netball. Like she was a masters netballer playing in the open. So she was playing with women 20 years younger. And she said, I want to be, at the end of the game, I want to be less tired. So I want to improve my fitness. I want to be able to play 4 quarters instead of having to sub off at some point. So I want, endurance to improve. And I just want to be a little bit faster, work through some old injuries and that kind of thing. So I go, okay, we can do that.
Mhm.
After 6 weeks, she'd complain most sessions that she didn't feel like it was hard enough. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, let's keep going. And so I said, what are you looking for? And she goes, well, I'm never sore the next day and I'm never this and blah, 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 blah. I go, so how's netball at the moment? She goes, it's really good. I go, yeah, right. It's like, you playing 4 quarters? She goes, yep. Yep. Didn't you just tell me a story about how you're faster than the 25-year-olds now? She goes, yeah, yeah, I am. And injuries wise, how you going? Oh, yeah, no effects of the old injuries. So you've got all of your goals, but you're not sore at the end of the workout. Yeah, I should be sore. I go, when you trained yourself, were you always sore at the end of the workout and the next day? And she goes, always. Yeah. I used to push myself really hard and I'd always be sore and go, and you never got better and you got injured a lot. Yeah. I go, do you see how this is connecting yet? And she goes, no, I just need, but she didn't. And I said, listen, head back to the gym, head back to where you used to train. Um, no hard feelings. We're still friends. We'll still catch up for a drink. We'll have a barbecue this weekend. But you go back to training the way you like training, and I'll see you in 6 weeks. And she goes, "Oh, you're such a smart ass." And I go, "Yeah." She goes, and so I'm like, "Oh, you enjoy yourself, have fun." She was back in 3 weeks. She came back 3 weeks later, and there's two other stories like that. It was just they. It was all these people with the belief that you had to be sore from training and that the soreness indicated whether it was good
Mhm.
workout. And I said, well, no, I think extra weight on the bar in 3 weeks' time is a good indicator that you worked hard.
Right.
Um, the fact that we've gone up in weight and you're lifting it, it's better quality and you look better moving and you feel stronger and you don't get hurt. I think that's the result.
Right.
And then when she goes, when she finally came around to that, and all three people did the same thing, they're like, oh, okay, so I've been training wrong all this time. I go, yeah, you've just been beating yourself up.
Okay. I
You've
mean, that's
been,
such a good
yeah,
point. Training is not beating yourself up.
right. It,
Uh,
it can look that way from the outside, but it's self kindness. It's not abuse.
right. So so is that the same with power lifters too? Like,
Mm.
did anyone powerlifting complain that it wasn't hard enough too? Or was that for more for sports?
That were more sports. Like anytime that there was an endurance component or a fitness component, I think people attributed uh crazy hard sessions with getting
Mm,
fitter. Like their aerobic fitness would improve
hmm
if they destroyed themselves, if they couldn't breathe, if they were gasping for air.
hmm
Um,
So how can you?
I yeah, I was going to say there's a fun one of that. I challenged that one with the rugby team that I was coaching. We got a reputation for being the by far the fittest team in the competition. That at the end of the game, hardly anyone's puffing. Like they run out the game so well, and we would win games based on fitness in the last 20 minutes. Like when everyone else was getting super tired,
Oh,
we'd we did never did hard fitness. Like if you came down and saw what we were doing for conditioning over the off season, you're going, they're not even moving. They're not moving fast. No one's sweating. No one's breathing hard. And I go, yeah, isn't it cool?
well, tell
Isn't
me
it
what
cool
it
our
is.
bodies can do this?
Give us
So
the goods.
nasal breathing only. So we used aerobic training, and aerobic capacity as both a training implement and active recovery implement. So the active recovery component means that we couldn't make it stressful. So we couldn't go into that sympathetic nervous system drive.
Okay.
We know we're hitting sympathetic nervous system when this happens. And we start, right?
Oh.
That kind of breathing, which we normally attribute to like a Tabata or high intensity interval training, sprinting, hardcore conditioning. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear this, right? In through the nose, out through the nose. So you have to find a pace. So you run as fast as you can while making sure you never open your mouth. So initially we looked like a bunch of freaks. Like some of the girls would tape their mouth shut with medical tape, or they would carry water in their mouth, so they're all go
Hmm.
run around like that. So if you swallow the water, you're going, oh, okay, I'm pushing too hard. Or if you want to spit the water out to take a breath, you go, oh, I've pushed too hard.
Right. But then how does
If
that
you
make
do
it
it for,
better?
how does it make you better? So you stay, ah, that's important. That's really important. So you stay in this parasympathetic zone. So
Oh.
you're not getting adrenaline and cortisol and this spike, but it's like you're gently pushing out the level of what you can do in a calm state. In a game of rugby, in a whatever the field sport is, in a game, as soon as you start breathing through your mouth, it's like there's a ticking clock.
Mm.
You've gone too far, you've hit the red line. Now it's a matter of time before you hit the wall.
Hmm.
So the idea of improving aerobic capacity is there's just so much more room before you hit that red line. So it's this gentle speed. It's like it the effort is done at say the scrum or the line out or the tackle.
Hmm.
The effort isn't getting across there anymore. We wanted to take the effort out of the in between bits. For field sports, the effort often becomes getting between the two bits that you're about to do. So it's the running, it's the getting over,
Hmm.
it's the jogging part, it's all that. So we just wanted to take the sting out of that and make sure that that wasn't a high intensity phase of play. We just wanted to make that easy.
But then when they're on the field, they're doing high intensity because they have to run faster than the other people. So then people might
Correct.
think that's counterintuitive because you're never practicing that, right?
Yeah, you don't have, but I think for particularly for amateur athletes, people that have a 9 to 5 job, you don't have to,
Okay. So you're right. This is different
right?
than
Um, but then and even with pro athletes, you don't have to do anywhere near as much as what most people do. So
this.
the because we're um if you want to get into this more, there's a guy called Joel Jamison. He runs was it 8weeksout.com. He's a UFC trainer. He's trained some of the most well conditioned athletes on the planet ever.
Okay.
I did a mentorship with him back in 2014. I learned a lot from him,
Mhm.
and the ability to improve conditioning is mostly based on the aerobic system. As soon as we start doing anything, we're activating the aerobic component of fitness. Right? It's not, on all those graphs it says the first 10 seconds is this, then the next 30 seconds is this, and
Mhm.
then after about a minute, it's the aerobic system.
Mhm.
That's that's a misinterpretation. They all start at second zero. So
Huh.
they're all running. The
Oh.
one that they say like the ATP CTP system that might run out in 10 to 30 seconds because you've exhausted it and that won't run again. That doesn't mean that the aerobic system wasn't running underneath that whole time.
Okay.
You're still using that system to generate energy. We're still creating energy using oxygen. It's still running. So the longer we can have that running efficiently, the better it is for any athlete. Whether it's just people going to work each day or you're playing rugby for Australia, having a huge aerobic capacity
Hmm.
means that you can do more work at less cost.
Okay. So whenever if you're doing an exercise and then afterwards you're like maybe not do that.
You've gone into flight or fight, and it's fun to do that. Like I like it. I like that feeling of like it feels like your lungs coming out the back of your head and
I don't like
everything's on
that.
fire. And yeah, I really enjoy
I
it.
don't like that. So,
so
so
you
what you're
so
saying is
you
I
should
don't have
probably
to do.
never do that. You don't have to do that. there's other ways to get really, really fit without doing that.
Okay, so basically, if you want to get really, really fit, a good way to do that is to make sure that whatever you're doing, you can continue doing breathing through your nose.
Yeah. Yep. Um, yeah, one of the because I don't train teams anymore, I only train one rugby player. It's hilarious when she goes back to her team and she's so much better conditioned than everyone else. And the only conditioning work that we do is like a 20 to 30-minute run. And it's a light, like it ends up being a fairly light jog,
Mhm.
doing nasal breathing only.
Right. Okay.
And what I love about it is because you end up finding this really nice sweet spot. So by the time you finish, about 10 minutes into the run, it's real, like you're just feeling good because you found your sweet spot, this
Hmm.
perfect spot where it's not too hard, not too easy. You're challenged, you're engaged, you're locked in.
Hmm.
And it's a bit of a flow, it's a micro flow experience. So you're
Right.
just in the moment and you feel better at the end of the run than you did at the start of the run
Mhm.
because you haven't gone into sympathetic dominance. You've stayed rest and digest, you've stayed parasympathetic.
Mhm.
So all of the neurotransmitters being released are a lot more gentle and like, oh yeah, I like the world. This is fun. We're
Mm.
not using stress to get the job done. We're providing a little bit of internal stress so that all the systems activate, but not so much stress that there's a buildup and that there's pain or discomfort or anything like that.
I think I remember talking to you though, and you loved doing some CrossFit stuff because you felt like totally like done at the end of those.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I just, but
You're like, do what I say.
yeah. But that's for me because I do so much nasal only stuff. Those
Okay. So,
workouts fit. I really enjoy the emptying the tank because you go, what are
okay.
you doing next? I go, nothing. Got nothing on for the rest of the day. What are you doing tomorrow? Nothing. Just recovering. I've got plenty of time to get over this one.
Okay. So it's kind of like that's your game,
Yeah.
so to speak, or like your competition
Yep.
or your meet or whatever. That's when you want
Yeah.
to give it everything, but not giving it everything in every workout that you're doing every day.
Yeah. There's certain there's bus bench workouts and there's park bench workouts. Bus bench, I got somewhere to be. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
They're both benches. You're both sitting on a bench, but a bus bench is I'm waiting for the bus. I'm going to go somewhere. Like there's real purpose and intent to it. A
Mhm.
park bench workout is going, I don't care what I do. I'm just doing stuff. I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
I'm going to I'm going to watch the kids play on the playground. I'm going to watch the people playing a game of softball. I'm going to feed the ducks. I'm going to look at the sky. I'm going to enjoy
Mhm.
the trees. So a
Yeah.
workout can be a park bench workout. You're moving to move. I feel my body. I feel good.
Right. Okay.
And
Um,
so for me, that's perfectly in line with my values of that belief that exercise, the purpose of exercise is just to feel my body. That
mhm.
it ends up being an inquiry to how do I feel today? How does my body feel?
Yeah.
Um, and so for those workouts, I think they should be, I would tend to go nasal breathing only.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to do anything, just trying to have fun.
Okay, got it. So it's basically like you have a specific, like we talked about earlier, specific intentions for each workout. I mean, I do the same thing too. It's like
Yeah.
sometimes you do want to switch up your intensity and you want to see what you got, but you're not doing that every day.
No, no.
I think that's where it goes wrong. Like when you said that they're sore
Yeah.
like every single time they work out, like that's not ideal.
Yeah, I think that a a big improvement for me as an athlete was when I started doing recovery workouts.
Hmm.
And so they were those lighter, kind of fun, quicker workouts in between the big heavy sessions to make my body feel better. And that's when I started, I do a lot of sled dragging and they were just kind of fun because they weren't it was very novel and it was just moving for half an hour,
Hmm.
but moving in a really strong, fun kind of way. And if I did that on Tuesday, then Wednesday, I'd feel better from Monday's workout and I'd be able to be better on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But it was like I had to go, if I had have like really turned up the heat on those recovery workouts, it wouldn't be recovery anymore. It would be more stimulation and I'd be just hammering myself all the time.
Yeah.
So I think active recovery for me, I think is a really important part, and that's where those easier workouts or the fun workouts become really important.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, and then so earlier we talked about you can tell when someone's muscles aren't doing what they're supposed to do in a lift, but we talked about only the bench press. And now I'm like
Okay.
really curious, like with deadlifts and squats, since you've been talking, you just mentioned deadlifts and squats a few times
Hmm.
lately. So I'm like, what is it for squats? What is it for deadlifts? Can you give
Oh,
some
there's
common base?
lots. Yeah, there's lots of difference.
Like it was so cool because
Had
like if it's going the bar is going towards their face, then they're not using their back, right? So it's like
their back, yeah, their back's weak. Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
like what are good examples for
if
squats
the if the bar is drifting forward, it's somewhere in the posterior chain
for deadlifts?
for um for both
Okay, if the
for both
bar is
squat. Yeah. So
going
if you're falling forward in the squat, so the bar's coming, like this,
mhm,
like the bar's in front of your toes, it's normally there's something in there with the posterior chain. Just something. Just something. We're making it really broad brush strokes at the moment.
mhm.
Same with the deadlift. If the bar drifts forward away from your shins, there's something somewhere in the posterior chain.
Okay.
Don't know where initially, but there's somewhere in there. So that's where you start looking.
So
Um,
how would you
and
find
then
that? Like
and
investigate.
well, then you start investigating a different where in the deadlift does the bar drift forward,
Oh, okay.
and sometimes what's one of the quickest ones? If you just give somebody a really heavy max on a deadlift and just see where they struggle. When people get into that big struggle around when they go over 95%, they'll only recruit the muscles that are really strong. And so you watch how someone deforms and you go, oh, wow, you're using all of this, and this at the moment to get that done.
Okay.
And not, and it's, I don't want to say it's really obvious, but when you have that mindset of going, how are they lifting that at the moment? What muscles are working?
Mhm.
And we use the 10-year-old rule. You go, does that look like a good deadlift? Does
Oh,
that
yeah.
look nice?
Yeah.
Because that's all you really need to go, that doesn't look right. That's good
Right.
enough analysis for a coach. And then you go, well, what are you using? Where do you normally get sore? Or what gets injured? Because normally what gets injured is the muscle doing too much.
Oh, so like whenever somebody's like, I can't do deadlifts because I hurt my back, it's like they're not using any other muscles except their back.
Correct. All they're using is their intersegmental spinal erectors, which just aren't up to the task. They're maxed out. They can't do anymore. Um, those the people with sore backs from deadlifting normally have nothing to sit on.
Huh.
They've got no they've got no glutes.
Okay, interesting.
Find you show me somebody with a sore back from deadlifting, and I'll tell you. And 9 times out of 10, they've got tiny little butt.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah.
Do you know? Do you know the people that never get a sore back from deadlifting?
Go ahead.
People with big butts.
I wanted you to say it, not me. I don't know why. Okay.
um, because the glute max is a huge muscle that covers such a huge. There's so much real estate taken up by glutes on
So,
the posterior aspect of the body that if they're not doing their job properly, all of the other little muscles have to step up and take over. So if you just get them to work a little bit, like a little bit of glutes, is so much stronger than all of your spinal erectors
so then like what would be your go-to for like for that?
for glutes. My
I just
go-to for
want to know
years
what
now
it
has
is.
been the pony band. I call it the pony.
Oh no
I
way,
just I
seriously?
yeah yeah um yeah we play My Little Pony with someone. So I'd loop just get a jump stretch band, loop it over, and the athlete will put it around their waist, and so the band is digging in at around their hips.
Hmm.
I stand behind them. They get into a deadlift setup, and I just put a little tension on their hips from the band,
Oh,
and that. I didn't know. Maybe it's because of the people that I work with. I've never had to do anything more than that.
That's
That little bit of external feedback is normally enough to for people to go, "Oh, you want me to do that?" And go, "Yeah, do that." And they start using their glutes, and they turn it into hip extension instead of back extension.
okay. So it's not like you're
Okay.
giving them like 8,000 glute exercises to do or like
No,
do bridges for the rest of your life or something, you know.
no, we just show them that they have glutes.
That's so cool. So then it pretty much
Yeah.
gets fixed like immediately.
Oh, I got to challenge that.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
So you because everybody after they do that end up they go, oh, I want to do hip thrusts, I want to do good mornings, and they go, I want to do heaps for my glutes, and go for your life, and that kind of confirms the changes that they're making. You get immediate results, but it's not an immediate fix. You haven't fixed it. You just know what you need to work on now for it to be fixed and strengthened over time.
Um,
It's imagine we go back to that trail analogy. You've
mhm.
got to a point of the trail where there's 4 or 5 branches going off, and there's only one that's going to lead you to where you want to go. But you don't know how to. At the moment, you're going, which one is it? Do I go left, right, middle, door number C? I don't know.
Right.
Um, and so all we're doing is showing you which trail it is that you need to walk down, and
Oh,
giving you lots and lots of confidence that this is the correct trail.
okay.
So if you keep on following this trail, you're going to get to where you want to get to now. Now you just know how you have to walk as you go along this trail.
Okay. So then what would be the trail then? Continuing
The
like
trail
because you said people
continue
start
to
doing good mornings, but that's not it.
well the trail there. If you've had inactive glutes and you got a sore back and you don't use your glutes properly, then all of a sudden we put the pony band on you and you go, hey, for glutes, you're probably going to go, hey, I really like glute training.
Right.
This really training this way aligns with what I think is important.
Oh, okay.
Um, and it feels good doing it now because now I know how to do it. And because it's well aligned with my goals, there's an instant satisfaction in moving the way that will get you to your goals. It just feels good to move that way.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to do it again. And it becomes an autotelic exercise. Like you're doing it for a reason, so it's exotelic, but then it
Oh,
becomes autotelic, as in it's good in and of itself because now it just feels good to do because
okay.
you're really good at it.
So then so then it's okay if people started to do good mornings and other kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. They
And
just know how to do it.
right, because now they got it
Yeah,
in there. Oh, okay.
they know
Got it.
what they know what it should feel like when you're doing it right. You know what it feels like now.
Right. It's a lot
You just
like anything really.
yeah, you've just shifted your focus a tiny bit
Yeah.
to, and then go, oh, so if I keep on going like this, I'll be right. You go, yep, you'll be good. And
Oh.
then eventually there'll be another fork in the path.
Mm.
And you go, oh, do I keep on? Which way do I go now? And you go, well, now you need to keep on doing the glute stuff, but that's
Mhm.
not the main player. It might be grip, upper back, technique, quads, abs, whatever.
Mm.
You
Oh,
just
so it's like you're
because
kind of just figuring out what's the first fork.
yeah, just
It's
what's the first thing?
right. Instead of like
And the
trying to go down all the forks at the same time, which you can't do
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, it's the low hanging fruit analogy. Like what are you so that's why it's always strength based and like what am I already good at? And which one of these things, if I just did this, it would give me like an instant payoff. And it's not even that hard to do. It's like that. It's just a little bit extra
Right.
or a little tweak. Um, Remember, we've spoken about the challenge to skills ratio in flow before, and it's that
Mhm.
4%. We're only looking for a 4% change. We
Mhm.
don't need 100% change. We don't need a 50 or a 10, 4% at max.
Right.
Just 4% harder, 4% novelty, whatever. And that's normally enough to keep on progressing. Um,
Right. Okay.
and sometimes the next fork in the road is just your own ability to focus on your own values.
Mm. Yeah. Don't get in
and
your
and not get distracted by externals, not get distracted by things that aren't important to you,
Oh my
and be able to
God.
continually come back to that one thing that's really important,
So hard sometimes.
right? Oh, I've seen this other girl. She does this all the time, and I really like her, and she
Oh
looks cool.
my.
Should I be doing that? You
Yeah.
just go, I don't know. Um,
Maybe,
or
maybe
or
not.
I heard Jimmy Kolb does this for his triceps. Should I be doing that? I'm going, maybe. I don't know.
Why don't you just
What
keep doing what you're doing? Because it seems to be working.
what are you doing at the moment? I had this was a fun story that doing what you're already doing. We had Ed Coan, who's the Michael Jordan of powerlifting. He's an
Mhm.
absolute legend. Must have been about 11 or 12 years ago. He came out and he was doing a series of seminars, and we started on the squat, and he gave me like one correction to do with my hands while squatting, and it made a huge difference. I'm like, okay, so I didn't need to change much. It's just like literally just a little bit more of this, and you're right. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks.
So
And
cool.
I continued to make progress. And then we got the bench press. I said, hey, all right, Ed, what can I do better? And he goes, just keep doing what you're doing. Why change? I'm going, well, I'm not perfect. I could be better. And he goes, dude, you're already good. Being being number one just means you just got to keep on doing this for a while and not get distracted.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
And that's
Um,
important too, as a coach, to not
yeah,
just pick something for somebody to work on if they don't need to work on anything.
right. And that's most coaches. That from what I can tell, that's most powerlift these online powerlifting coaches. They'll make changes just because they think that's their job, and that the client expects a change. It's
Mhm.
actually really hard for most coaches not to change anything and to go, hey, you're doing everything now. This is the part where we just keep doing it for a while,
Yeah, think Russians.
right? Um,
And I think it's sometimes
yeah,
people don't understand the value is not in somebody telling you everything that's wrong and switching things up. The value is in knowing that this is the way to go and just
yep,
keep doing that. Like that's so valuable.
yeah,
Why do we equate value with, oh yeah, that's wrong, you need to change that, eat this for breakfast, stop
yeah,
eating yogurt for, like whatever the new thing is, or it's like you seem to be
yeah.
doing great. So just
Well,
keep it up. And then when you're
you
not,
you ever been to a pro sport game before?
I mean, you mean like a Mets game or a baseball game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been to a Mets game. How many how many thousand coaches do you think were at a Mets game?
How many thousand coaches?
Yeah.
Like
There was a well, there was one coach in the dugout, like maybe a couple of, assistant coaches and a manager. But in the stands, there's like a
oh,
thousand people that can identify what's going wrong. Right.
oh my God. Why did he swing at that? What is he
And
blind? Whatever.
and I bet you those thousand people that can point out what they did wrong, they're actually getting they're right. They go, yes, he did drop his elbow, he did this wrong, he did that, blah 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 blah. And you go, cool, good on you. That has no value at all. That's why you have to pay $50 for a ticket and sit in the stands, because that is not a valuable skill to possess. If it was a valuable skill, the guy in the stands would be getting paid to heckle.
Oh my God. That's
Could
actually
could you
so
imagine it back in the day? Barry Bonds is sitting out in right field and just turning around and going, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right, sir. I should tuck my left elbow in a little bit, hold my left elbow in. You're right. I'm getting that wrong. I'm going to do, spot on, man. Oh, thank you so much for coming to the ball game today. I'll send you a check later on. Like, it doesn't happen.
oh my
Great coaching, in my opinion, is being able to be very, very specific and great at communicating what someone's doing well. So,
yeah.
like when we were working together, like, okay, Teresa, you're doing that thing now. If you
Mhm.
just keep on doing that thing for another 10 years, you're going to be fine.
Mm. Yeah.
And now that's the challenge. Now that's the challenge is how do we make this thing that you're doing sustainable and interesting enough to do 10,000 reps with it?
Right.
It's a
Totally.
different challenge rather than going, hey, you're doing it wrong. Okay. Thanks. I know that too. And guess what? My 10-year-old neighbor, he, you know, when she sees me doing it wrong, she knows it's wrong because she goes, "Yeah, that doesn't look right." I go, "It's not right. It's not a great skill to possess. Just it's a critic. It's not a coach. Coaches are
Right,
critics."
right, totally. Um, I was wondering if we could get to this question about how did your process training for bench pressing help your with your process recovering from your stroke? Like how were those because you were out of powerlifting for a bit because you had five
Yeah,
strokes. Kind of
that'll 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 do it.
just a little thing that happened.
Walked with a limp. This is like, here we go. Left-handed coffee cup drinking was a high risk activity for a long time, and I dropped a lot of cups. Like I had that
Right.
whole hemi neglect on my left hand side, so I used to force myself to do everything on the left,
Hmm.
and then yeah, drop a lot of coffee cups.
Yeah.
That that process one that I think that came out of kind of day 3 or 4 in the hospital. I was in hospital for a while, and uh, it was heart failure that caused the stroke. So my heart just wore down to almost nothing and just wasn't pumping blood properly.
Hmm.
And the head of the heart failure team, she came around to saw us and she said, "Well, at the moment you're like 12 or 13%, which is impressive that you're alive. Um,
Wow. Okay.
and if you do a lot of work, you can bring that up." I'm like, "Okay, cool, cool. Well, what's a healthy average human?" She goes, "Anything over 50% is no longer heart failure. So
Oh,
you're getting in the right area. About 65% is really healthy. 70% is elite." And so in my head, I hear 70% and go, "Okay, that's what I want. I want the
right.
70."
Hmm.
And she says to me, "Nathan, I think if you're, given your athletic background and how disciplined you are, if you work really, really, the best we've ever seen is someone get to 40%, but we reckon you can get to 45."
You're like
In
45.
my, but in my head, I'm going 70. What
Right.
the fuck is 45? I don't want 45. Get
Yeah.
out of here. I remember feeling quite mad, and I didn't like that prognosis at all. The young nurse that I had with me at the time, she asked, and this was what was cool about this young girl. She was on probation still. The person in the room was like 3 levels her senior,
Hmm.
and she asked her to leave.
The
She
young nurse
goes,
asked that woman to leave.
"Yeah,"
Oh,
because she
wow.
saw how distressed I was getting at her prognosis, that saying,
Oh,
"You'll never get to you'll never get to elite, but we reckon you can get to almost out of heart failure." And that would be, in their world, that was a huge achievement. I'm going, "No, that's no, not doing that." And so that's where we developed this idea that um, I didn't win a world title in powerlifting. I came close. I thought I was heading in the right direction. I never won one. And I was disappointed about that. And so we're going, well, couldn't win a world title, but I'm going to win rehab. And
okay.
so that first bit, that start of the process was the exact same. I tell people, I'm going to go after this thing that you all think is impossible.
Mhm.
So that was the same in bench pressing. In Australian powerlifting, the record was 260 when I started. I said, "Yeah, I think I can bench three. I'll get
Hmm.
300." They go, "Have you ever?" And I said, "I haven't yet, but I'll get there. Just watch me."
Yeah.
And people thought that I was an absolute idiot. You're a moron. That's,
Uh-huh.
no one's ever got close to that. What are you talking about? And I ended up lifting 340, took attempts at 365, made attempts in training at over 800 pounds.
Hmm.
And they were saying, "Yeah, no, 600 pounds. That's it. That's the upper limits." And so this idea that something wasn't possible, according to other people, according to experts, it wasn't new to me. So I'm like, okay, I did that before. So I had this self belief that I was going to do it.
Hmm.
And then I would start coming up with what's the bare minimum I can do every day, that if I did that every day for 10 years, I would get to my goal.
Hmm.
That's what I did in training. That's what I did with the bench press as well. So
Hmm.
I just wanted to be training all the time. You can't train intensely all the time.
Hmm.
So I would find little ways to be able to make improvements. If I had 5 or 10 minutes spare, then I could do breath work.
Mm.
Um, I could sit in a chair and do wrist circles or sensory stimulation to work on stuff. So I was always looking for what's the very, very small thing I can do today to get a little bit better.
Right.
Always with that big goal in mind. And so the way that it was the same is that I'd reverse engineer the goal. So I thought if I have a um, sorry, if I imagine having
Mhm.
an ejection fraction of between 65 and 70%, what would my life look like? And go, oh, well, my daily life is if I'm at 70%, I'm probably doing cardio every day. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, cool. All right, cardio every day. I can do that now. The cardio at the time wasn't particularly hard. It was walking to the letterbox and back. It
Right.
was, I'd walk 20 meters was a struggle. That was high intensity. That
Yeah.
was really high intensity back then. So like, okay, I can do that every day. And in that way, I'm living the goal out. Like my
Hmm.
10-year or my 5-year goal to have a 70% ejection fraction involves doing cardio work every single day.
Right.
I go, well, I'm doing that. Tick. I'm
Yeah.
not doing hard cardio. It's not the same. That's going to change,
Yeah.
but I'm doing it. Like the thing is being done.
The 4% thing.
Yeah. And so if I just keep on doing cardio every day, um, at whatever level I can do it, then eventually, if I did that every day for a couple of years, then I should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And so I was having that belief in the process of identifying what future me would look like, and then
Hmm.
starting doing whatever that looked like today. So if other bits is I figure I'd be if I have really good blood pressure, I'm probably meditating once a day.
Mm.
And I'm probably journaling and I'm probably doing these other things. And I probably change the way I'm eating. And so every time is, well, what's the smallest possible thing I can do today to make that change?
Yes. And that's what you did with, did you do the same thing with the bench press or was it just,
Did the exact same thing with bench pressing. Um, I programming and all those kind of things. I would reverse engineer and go, if I can bench press say 350 kilos, I wonder how much I could do on a triceps press down then. Like I should be able to do this much.
oh,
And
I
go,
see.
oh, and then go, oh, I'm not far off that. I'm pretty close to that one. I can
Right.
start working on that right now
Oh, that
because I'm
is so
quite
cool.
close, right?
Yeah.
But I go, oh, I'm probably going to need to be able to shoulder press X amount. I go, oh, I'm a long way off that. I'll
Oh,
start with triceps because by the time I finish my triceps, I'm going to be that much closer on shoulders. So then
right.
when I'm going, all right, I think my triceps are good enough to be able to hit my goal. I'm just going to put them on maintenance now, but I really need to work on my shoulder press, on my overhead press.
Okay.
Um, but that's better now than what it was 3 months ago when I looked at should I do shoulders or triceps?
Right. So it's
Because
like, yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
like what
you're
you were,
always looking at what's the one thing I can do today that'll
yeah.
make the whole list a little bit easier.
And it's like what you were saying about taking everything apart and then putting it back together. Right. So
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing. This is kind of,
Yeah.
this just popped in my head, but it might be too much. I don't know. It's like, do you feel like powerlifting kind of saved your life in that way?
Well, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
because if you hadn't had that experience with bench pressing, maybe, or with powerlifting, right?
I don't
And
know how I would have done it.
somebody who's an expert was like, yeah, you're not going to get to, maybe you'll get to 45, right? Whatever. Um, or
I'd
maybe,
probably believe them.
right. So like the
Yeah.
experiences you had from powerlifting kind of, it seems like saved
Yeah. Absolutely.
things a little.
Absolutely.
So cool.
I remember this was relayed to me. I wasn't here for this. The nurses speaking to my wife about powerlifting because the doctors will always frame things as a negative and go,
Hmm.
well, you push your body very hard, and that would have contributed to the strokes. I go, well, yeah, I did, and it probably did. You're right.
Hmm.
And your body weight, that certainly contributed. I'm going, yep, yeah, sure, of course.
Hmm.
Living that close to 400 pounds for 10 years, you're going, yep, would have definitely contributed.
Hmm.
And they go through this laundry list of things that would have contributed to the negative thing. it was the nurses that came in and said to my wife, they go, "Do you realize powerlifting kept him alive?" She goes,
Right.
"What do you mean?" I go, "Well, Nathan was strong enough to survive 5 strokes and be in heart failure. Why is he strong enough to withstand that?" And that was powerlifting, because I'd done enough training. Like, even though the training in some aspects negatively affected my health, it also positively affected my health.
Hmm.
Like, it
And
meant that I had a really strong heart. It meant that
right.
I had strong muscles. It meant that my body was resilient to that massive, massive stressor, and I was able to come back from it. Like, it didn't kill me. And so that's why nowadays I put such an emphasis on strengths,
Hmm.
because whatever was it was the fact that I was strong enough to survive strokes.
Hmm.
Like, I wasn't strong enough to not have them. That would have been nice. I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
But I was strong enough to withstand 5 strokes, and I was strong enough to withstand heart failure twice.
Right.
It gives me a very, if I can look through that and go, well, what did I do that gave me that strength? I can just double down on those things.
Hmm.
And that was the even now, that's what I do. Go,
Yes.
well, this area of my training, definitely we got to keep that in, because that kept me
Right.
alive.
Totally. And we didn't even talk about, we don't have to, but just I think it's important to mention that for about 2 years, I think, if I'm wrong, correct me, but you were saying something was wrong. And doctors
Oh
were
yeah.
like, oh, no, and I don't mean
Yeah.
to remind you of that, but like,
Yeah, no, that's a really important one,
and
because that
that's
was
really
that was
important because
horrendous. Yeah.
you were saying like you were swollen after flights and stuff, and they were like, yeah, blah blah blah, but um I think I mean,
Yeah, so I had the strokes December of 2016. The first time I started seeing anybody because I thought something was wrong was December 2013.
yeah,
Yeah. So 3 years.
yeah, and
Three
and
full years have been told a different story.
right. So I think, maybe it was powerlifting and stuff, but also um you were certainly looking for some help. That didn't happen. But I think also
Yeah.
what's important about that is that whenever somebody's coming to you and they're like, something doesn't feel right, you're not going to be like, nah, keep going. It's okay.
No, you're good. Nah,
You're
ignore it.
okay.
It's not that.
It's not that. It's just because you're a power lifter. That's why that is.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nah, yeah.
And I
It's that
think,
really dismissive kind of, I don't know. Um, it's a way, I think it's a way experts like to maintain their expert status by being quite dismissive.
mhm,
It's there's probably a lot of ego in there, or I don't know what it is, and some of it's time effectiveness in
mhm,
a role where they're really pressed for time. They don't have enough time to do a proper consult, and they tend to use heuristics. And so the heuristic that they used on me was large powerlifter. And go, all right, that's all the problems coming from that. You go,
right,
it
right.
wasn't that.
And but also like you as a coach, somebody can feel comfortable
Oh yeah,
that you'll be able to help them either figure out what's going on or direct them to like the nearest person to help them with whatever's going
oh
on, right?
yeah. See, I was even
I,
before the stroke. I think we spoke about it a lot with the language within health, and people that see themselves as working in the pain domain. They talk about fixed, broken and fixed a lot. Like, oh,
mhm.
that person's broken, that person's this.
Oh yeah.
I hated that language.
Hmm.
And that kind of leads to people being a bit dismissive, and it was some of those trainers that I were going to, and they were always going, oh, no, no, it's this thing over here. It's not what you think it is. And so what I've always done is, if someone comes in and goes, hey, this is the symptom, this is the pain that I'm having, I always say, well, why do you think that's happening?
Hmm.
And go, well, because I did this and this and this. And go, well, it could be. How can we test if that's true? I
Right.
don't want to tell. I hate these coaches and doctors that come in and someone goes, I think it's this. And they go, it's not that. And he goes, quite dismissive. Even though I know it's normally not the story that the person believes it in. And that one came also, well, that came out of Z Health as well. Is normally the story that the patient or the athlete is telling about their injury is the first thing that you can go, it's not that then. And I've found that it's mostly true, but you have to entertain it. It doesn't mean you can dismiss it. So if you come to me and go, hey, I think it's this, and go, okay, well, why do you think it's that? And go, yeah, could be. Let's test that. And so if we come up for a test for it and just going, okay, that test is negative, it's not what you thought it was. And you go, oh, okay, well, let's look for other stuff. But we
Mm,
first have to I think it's really important to deal with that first thing that the person presents with that they think it is
right.
for nothing, for no other reason than peace of mind.
Yeah, I think that's really
Just so I can
important.
go, okay, all right, I was wrong. Wasn't that?
Yeah,
And I know why. And I've got a test now to confirm that I was wrong.
right.
But in my case, it would have been, well, why do you think it's your heart? And go, because I just got this nagging left arm pain that I can't quite address. And
Hmm.
normally I'm very good at addressing musculoskeletal pain and I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, what's a test that we could do with that? Well, one of the tests is they could have just put some dots on me and tested it then and there, and they would have seen. Um, and life would be very different today.
Yeah.
But I think, if someone comes in and go, hey, I think it's my knee and I think it's because of this. And I go, hey, I've got a test for that. Let's test it. Let's try that out.
Hmm.
And if the worst thing is that they're wrong, I go, okay, it's not that. We've ruled something out. Let's look at something else.
Yeah.
Best case scenarios, they're right. And they go, it is exactly that. And I've got these 3 drills that should be able to help you out.
Hmm.
Easy,
Yeah. It's
easy.
like, let's test it out. Let's what's the harm? I don't get why we can't just
There's no,
test things. It's not that big
I
of a
think
deal.
it's been, I think it doesn't make me look like a wizard if I have to test it. Like I think you can look like a real guru or look super awesome if you can just go, you kind of do that hand waving thing like a wizard would do. You go, oh, it's not that. Da, 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 da.
Right.
And then you just because you're so smart, you nail the right answer and you don't have to test. And so you look really cool. And then you feel like you feel like you're a god.
Right. Yeah.
And we know, I think, we know a couple of trainers exactly like that.
Oh yeah. And once I got into like spiritual stuff and like healer stuff, oh boy, it's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, are we just like completely off the mark here? Like, this isn't about us.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I was so fortunate that at the beginning of this sort of my journey to look into mobility and the nervous system and dealing with pain and injury and whatever was day one. I saw day one, video one of Kelly Starrett when he did his 100 days of mobility thing on YouTube. And Kelly's whole and Kelly's massive now. He's done really, really well out of it. But day one, he was saying, I just think people should be able to do basic maintenance on themselves.
right.
That's it. That's it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's just work on that. Give people give people the skills to do the basics, and then most things are dealt with just from that.
Yeah, it's true.
Um, and so that meant that the lens was always on the athlete, not on the coach.
Right.
It was the first time I'd seen somebody putting athlete at the center,
Mm.
and it wasn't all about the coach doing tricks or the
Mhm.
the therapist doing a thing to fix somebody. It was an athlete just moving their body a little bit differently to get a better result
Yep. And most of the time,
without having to stick a before he started sticking lacrosse balls everywhere and doing foam rollers and batshit crazy stuff. It was just move a bit different. You're going to move differently.
yeah, it's just doesn't have to be that complicated sometimes. A lot
Right?
of the time,
Yeah.
maybe. But anyways, well, thank you.
Complex doesn't mean complicated.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point. That's a good one.
We're we are highly complex. We're complex adaptive systems. We run on chaos. We have all these really weird stuff, but we don't need to make it complicated.
Hmm. Like we
We
don't
just
need
have to we have to accept that it is complex, but simple solutions still work, and we can enjoy how complex and beautiful that complexity is without needing to make it convoluted and weird.
and more of like just um showing your knowledge of
Yeah.
whatever. And I remember I remember, did you ever
Yeah,
take skill and style?
I did twice.
Yeah. So I remember Dr. Cobb teaching tennis, and he was like, he said the key was something like ice cream cone or over the mountain. I don't remember what it was. And he was like, I did 20 years of blah, 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 and all this study so that I could just tell people over the mountain or ice cream
You're
through it.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I just
Yep.
remember him saying that and being like, yeah, bro. I mean, I know I'm
Yeah, that's
here.
what we. Yep.
Right. And that was just so funny because it's like,
Oh, I get frustrated when I hear coaches talking about internal rotation or using anatomical terms.
mhm.
Um, I just go, stop complicating it. Uh, you don't need to come out with all the you don't need to tell people all the Latin words you know for people to accept that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think ice cream cone over the mountain, when that works, people think you're a genius because it's
Right.
so simple.
Yeah. And that's not it, by the way, just in case people are like, what the heck is
I
ice? I can't remember, but it was something ridiculous like that. And
let's see if we can use that in somewhere else then. Okay, doing a bench press is just ice cream over the mountain. Way you go. You'll figure it out.
just think about ice cream. Oh my gosh, so
Yeah,
funny. Well, thank you so much. This was really fun.
always is.
And do you have any last encouragement or anything that you wanted to just end on? And
Oh,
strength
that's not.
encouragement, whatever.
It's strength encouragement. Oh, the one I really like this one. This was from one of my heroes and mentors, Ed Coan again. He says, strength is never a weakness, and weakness is never a strength.
Wow, interesting.
Hmm.
We'll leave it there.
I'll keep on thinking about that one.
All right, I'll see you later. My head's gonna explode.
All
I'll just
right.